Hey Clashers, Supercell trolled all of us because this challenge yesterday did not look as intended. Intended was this version right now. And if you were logging in right away as the challenge came out, you saw this, which is way harder, okay? This is not even... in one challenge we have Archer Towers and the other ones we have Monolith in the core. That is an insane difference. So a lot of people were kind of afraid of what is going on. All of the YouTubers are uploading bases with Archer Towers and I have like Monolith. What is Supercell doing? Are they trolling? What is happening? Well, that's exactly what I will tell you in this video. What happened behind the scenes, like what was going on, and as well why I think this has to be one of the worst challenges, sadly, in the game we had so far over all of those years. But because I feel like this is just fair, we would do a top 3 ranking of all of the challenges we had so far in all Clash of Clans time, and I would do a top 3 ranking of the challenges I liked the most. I think that would be kind of fun, and I would like to see what your opinion is and what your top 3 looks like as well. But now let's dive into the attack, because I'm pretty much doing the exact same attack and showing you that with my approach from yesterday, you could do this challenge the exact same way, but just having to face Monolith. Obviously the spell placement and timing would need to be pretty much perfect, but otherwise you can copy the attack right away if you had to face it really early in the beginning. But now the question is, what exactly happened? Why were there Monolith in the game? So overall the problem is, or what was the issue, is kind of that this was the original challenge, but that one was just way too hard. So other creators, myself included, were complaining that I feel like the regular Clash out there, for them it's just going to be way too hard to complete this challenge. And I think even with the Arch Towers, it's still not easy to complete it. So Supercell has changed it. That is, long story short, why there were the Monolith in the game. And I guess they just forgot it to change it in the live game, as like all of the creators obviously had the recall, or like the record option of recording it earlier. That's with like how all of the challenges work. That's why we can always upload a guide for you guys as soon as the challenge comes out. And that's my assumption that, well, they just forgot to change it. So actually they were not trying to troll us, even though that would have been funny and annoying at the same time, I guess. But either way, that is kind of how things happen and why things happen, and I hope that you guys are not too upset about things. But now I want to talk about my top 3. My top 3 challenges overall, and why we had one of the worst challenges right here, because I think it's just way too hard. I have to say, what is a good challenge from me? Like, what are the important things? First off, it shouldn't be too hard. I think it should be easy to be manageable. Like, it should be manageable for a regular clasher. Second thing is, there should be multiple options to complete it. Not only one way to do it, but multiple options. And the third thing then is just having fun. Like having a challenge which looks different than a regular attack. Because that is like the worst thing possible, having a regular attack. And for me on rank number 3, it's actually funny enough another challenge from Utah. What I just said, like this first challenge from Utah was one of the worst ever. This I think is one of my top 3 favorite challenges which were out there, for multiple reasons. The first reason, as I just said, you will never find a base like this in Clash of Clans. With all of those Inferno Towers in the core, that's crazy. So many heroes and everything. The army choice was pretty wild as well, so there were a lot of different troops. But then we're getting to the next point, which is, it wasn't too hard. Because I did actually a challenge. I did a challenge on the challenge where you could win a gold pass when completing the challenge with as little housing space as possible. This right now is the winner attack, because this person has finished this challenge without using a single troop. 0 troop capacity was used. And if you want to tell me that this challenge was too hard, then I don't know what you're on, but that is just... he's swagging like 400 housing space or something of troops. So yeah, well, this challenge I think was just perfect for all of the YouTubers, including myself, uploading our guides. There were a lot of different opportunities and approaches on this base, which, as I said earlier, I think that's really cool. It's always more fun to like watch different YouTubers, watch different content creators, and see different approaches on all of those bases. Having always the same approach, it feels like it's first boring, and second of all, is really bad for the viewer, because this means if you cannot complete the challenge with this one specific approach, and you would need to check out the next YouTuber, but he has the same approach, and then the next YouTuber, like, you can see the problem. And I feel like this is what is happening to a lot of people out there. Whenever they cannot complete a challenge with specific content creator, they would just switch to the next one and see if that guide works for them, which is kind of how things should work. That's kind of how the challenges are intended and how they were meant to be. So having now the opportunity of having different approaches versus those challenges, I just think it's way more fun than having one dedicated way which works and the other one do not. So really, really cool challenge. A really big thumbs up for this challenge from me, from Utah. And as I said again, this attack was just crazy. I mean, I still have no clue how he pulled that off. I mean, that attack is just one of the craziest things I've seen in Clash. I have to admit that. I mean, that was just absurd, seeing someone completing this challenge with 0 troop capacity. And it was one of the Clash Fest challenges of last year, if I remember correctly. So pretty much 1 year ago. So that's kind of cool. Now, let's get further to the rank 2 challenge, or in my opinion, like the second seed challenge, which is, well, surprise, we just had this challenge, but come on, it's so fun. I feel like every YouTuber uploaded a different approach versus the space, which is perfect. Then again, it's not too hard. I have seen some people saying that they just spammed everything in one corner and it sometimes worked, which is totally fine as well. Those challenges are not meant to be impossible. I mean, that's not how they should work. So I just think the design of the challenge is pretty much perfect. And at the same time, it's something you could never find like this in a regular game. Otherwise, it would be just so boring. If you remember, we just had the Clash Worlds challenges in the game, where some worlds bases were copied, the army of the attacker was copied, and then you had to pretty much do the attack. Where it's okay, but as a challenge, it's freaking boring. I mean, you could just copy that base by yourself and friendly challenge the base if you want to. That is a complete waste of a challenge spot, in my opinion. So having now a challenge like this, which is completely crazy. I mean, having those Tesla, having the level 7 kings and stuff like that, I think it's amazing. I think it's a really, really incredible idea. And as well, having like the king challenge and putting the only counter to a king, like the main counter with a monolith into it, and then you have to like work your way around. That's just genius. That is really, really a cool design overall. And I just freaking love the idea of the challenge. And that's why it is for me in the top 2 of my challenge tier list. And now the question is, what is my number 1 challenge? Well, I think it's going to be quite surprising for you. I will let this attack take its time, because I will see if anyone guessed right. But my number 1 challenge might surprise quite a few of you guys, because it is a combination between I like the challenge, I like the attack, I like everything about it, and as well I like the timing and when it was posted. So for this one, I mean, you have seen my guide on it, you have seen my attack on it, so I think at this point nothing is too surprising versus this challenge. But let's now take a look at the number 1 challenge. And actually, it's 2 challenges, because it's the magic challenge and the epic magic challenge. What do I like about this so much? First of all, it's the skins. I mean, come on, this is the best skin set we ever had. And it was released in October, if I remember correctly. And most of the skins always come back after 1 year. So, well, hopefully that's the case with this one as well, because this is probably one of the most asked questions in streams when I'm attacking with the skin set, because I'm still using it. When is the skin set coming back? And well, if it come back, remember to use code iTzu, I mean, when buying it. Either way, why do I like the challenge so much? As I said, there are multiple reasons. One of the reasons is, as I said, just the timing with Town of 15. I think it was a really, really cool timing with the Town of 15 release, and a fun way of introducing the new tools of Town of 15. The new siege, the new troops, and the new pets, and the new spell. So all of this were inside this challenge. The next way on why I liked it so much is, I mean, obviously you cannot really replicate this base in game, so that's another bonus point. And there were a lot of approach possibilities in how to beat the challenge. And the next thing is why I like this challenge way of presenting it so much is because oh my gosh, we had 2 challenges kind of covering the same thing, but one of the challenges was easy with the main reward. We had a book of heroes with this one. And then we had a second challenge, which kind of is the first challenge in harder, in more complex to attack. And that kind of gave the opportunity for everyone out there who was just going for challenges itself, like being challenging to complete. And that was kind of like then the next thing they could go for. I mean, I know a lot of people, and that's kind of like probably one of the most common comments which I get is like, it's why should I complete this? The rewards are just so bad. I would just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for me. Well, I have to surprise you, but some of the clashes out there just liked the strategic aspect of the game, you know? It's like more than just spamming E-Dragons and stuff like that. I'm not meant to offend anyone, but I mean, for a lot of people out there, they just like the challenge. They just like to try beat a certain challenge, even if it's hard. And I think this is where the perfect mix is in, that the main reward is on the first challenge, which is easy, but then there's like a little reward. I think it was like 15 gems or something on the second challenge, but it's not about the reward for the other players to complete it. It's about the challenge itself. It's experiencing the challenge and kind of solving it like a little puzzle kind of. So, and I think that's what is so genius about this, because in my opinion, this kind of opens up an idea for the future, which I hope Supercell at some point can like make work just technically, because I think right now they cannot do that. But that is, just imagine in the future challenges where you get, well, rewards based on every star you get. So for example, the challenge of Utah, which we had yesterday with the monolith in the core, you could keep it as it is. You could kind of make it that the first star is getting a lot of rewards, which are like, that first star is really easy to get because you could like just basically sneaky goblin the outside in storages and stuff like that. The second star, which is a little bit challenging to get but still manageable, is then kind of more rewards, but still the first 2 stars are the main rewards. And then the third star, that's where 15 gems maybe are only coming in. But for the main group, for the main player base who do not really want to grind for the main reward, or like for the little reward, but for the main feeling of completing, getting the 3 star, well, they don't have to. And I think this combination would be really cool for the future, and I really hope that Supercell can somehow manage to do that, because I just think it would open up so many possibilities of having fun but hard challenges in the game, but yet no one would complain because you would get the main rewards in the beginning with the first and second star. And this is kind of why I like this challenge so much, because it kind of gives this feeling already. Yes, it's 2 challenges, that might be too much, having that on every single challenge. And that's why I hope that Supercell kind of sees this as opportunity for the future and something they could work on, because I think it would improve the quality of life, enjoyment of challenges quite a bit. And that's pretty much the reason for my top 3 ranking, and that's pretty much the reason why I put this challenge, or this event I should more call it, on the number 1 spot. Well, now my question is, what is your top 3 most fun challenges, and what do you like about my idea with the star-based reward? So let me know down below in the comments, because I would really love to see this. And well, big shout out to all of the base builders or persons, creators, whoever who have created one of the challenges in my top 3. Really appreciate your work. It was a lot of fun doing guides for those challenges and guides for you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Until then, see ya and bye bye.